Townsel here. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video will review two blends of Starbucks that are considered dark coffees, the Caffe Verona and the Espresso. Remember, it's free to like the video, it's free to leave a comment below, it's free to subscribe to my channel, and it's free to share the video if appropriate. One thing I don't like about Starbucks coffee packages is they are extremely hard for me to open. I have to actually use two hands to pry this little seal open, and sometimes it actually rips the bag down in here, so I'm not a fan of that. I guess the upside is that the coffee is very fresh. I just opened both packages. Normally I would not do this. I open a pack as I'm going to use it. Opening a pack of coffee is like a ritual for me. I like opening a brand new pack and smelling that great smell. The Espresso, that's what it looks like. And the Caffe Verona, that's what it looks like. They both smell great. This is a comparison of 2 scoops of the Starbucks Espresso Roast here. And this is the Starbucks Caffe Verona, about 2 scoops there. You can see there's not much difference in the visuals. They're both very dark. Starbucks, on the ground coffee, they grind it pretty finely. I'm assuming that's to get more flavor out of it. I'm going to show you a comparison of these coffees to some Black Rifle coffee, which I'm a coffee club subscription for Black Rifle, and actually this is my current favorite and I ran out of it, so that's why I'm trying these Starbucks ones. But this is Black Rifle's Espresso. It's a medium blend, and this is CAF, which is a milder blend, I believe, and then this is Solemn Smooth, which is a light blend. And Starbucks says that both of these, the 2 Starbucks that I have, are supposed to be a dark blend. So you can see that they are. This is a medium for Black Rifle, and these 2 are dark and bold from Starbucks. And then these 2 back here, I know this is definitely a light. I'm not sure if the CAF is a light or a medium, but you can definitely see a difference in the color of the coffee. Getting back to the Starbucks, I just wanted to show you the difference in the darkness of the blends. I'm going to brew a pot each of these and compare them, drink them for a couple of days, and then I'll report back. I'm going to brew the Espresso Roast, which is rich and caramely, first. I'm going to use about 6 cups of the coffee pot for the Mr. Coffee, and I used about 5 scoops, pretty much level, maybe a little heaping of the Espresso Roast in the coffee filter. Now brewing is the Starbucks Espresso Roast, which is supposed to be rich and caramely. I'm liking the dark color of the coffee. I'm not much for really dark coffee that tastes bitter or too strong. It's why I tend to favor the lighter roast or the medium roast. But recently I've become a little bit curious about darker roast coffees and coffees with more of a full-bodied flavor. So I'm venturing out here. I have a brand new Mr. Coffee maker, and one thing I don't like about it is how it doesn't evenly distribute the water over the coffee grounds. I'm not a big fan of that. So sometimes I'll kind of cheat and take a spoon and kind of push some of the coffee grounds over under the water, because it makes me think that I'm giving the beans more of a chance to get all the coffee flavor out of them. It's looking dark and nice and clear, which I like. Smells great. Looking at the package details, the Espresso Roast, it says, every espresso beverage we handcraft for you begins right here. Our master roasters coax the beans along with the heat, taking them deep and dark. a recipe for caramelly sweetness so right that it's never been changed. The quest began in 1975 with a search for the perfect melding of beans and roast, ending months of intense experimentation later with the coffee you're holding in your hand. A blend of beans from Latin America and Asia Pacific, roasted the way only we can. Espresso roast. Caffe Verona. This is a coffee of one true love and three names. We created it just for a Seattle restaurant in 1975, naming it Jake's Blend, and people loved it. So many, in fact, that we began hand scooping and blending it to order in our stores, where it was known as 80-20 blend for the recipe. The love was so strong we finally made it official, calling it Verona, after the city that inspires so many. By any name, this is a thing of pure romance. Both the Espresso and the Caffe Verona are considered to be dark, full-bodied, and bold, according to Starbucks Roast. Here's my very first pot and very first cup of the Espresso Roast. I'm going to pour the remainder of what's in here into my Yeti cup, which I have preheated with some hot water. Put the lid on it, cover with some aluminum foil so that that cup will stay hot. And I'm going to compare both cups later on in the day to see what they both look like. It looks great. I love coffee. These are the Espresso Roast grounds after I brewed the coffee, and they definitely smell darker and richer than what I'm normally accustomed to. And for some reason the water did evenly get all over these coffee grounds. Maybe because they're ground a little bit finer. I'm not sure. But even the grounds look good. I'm now brewing a pot of the Caffe Verona, which is supposed to have a roasty, sweet, and dark cocoa flavor. The coffee is ground pretty finely. It's very dark. Again, I'm using my Mr. Coffee, and I put 6 cups of the Mr. Coffee carafe water in. 5 mostly level scoops of coffee. I'm trying to make it with the same proportions that I made the Espresso Roast. We'll see if the water evens out over the grounds like it ended up doing for the Espresso. Maybe the finer ground coffee works better in the Mr. Coffee. It looks good, it smells good. I can definitely see a difference with the darker coffee than with my normal lighter and mediums. I actually, since I bought a new Mr. Coffee, I actually have 2 filters and coffee pots. So I left that one over there for the Espresso, and there's my Espresso from the first pot. Just to be scientific and not mix flavors. It's looking nice. I understand that a Mr. Coffee is not a connoisseur coffee making device. Feel free to leave in the comments your suggestions for what I should use instead. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it, but I'm certainly open for suggestions. The Caffe Verona has finished brewing. That's what the coffee grounds look like. Again, I did not have to manipulate the water. It seemed like it equally saturated the grinds. And this is what the coffee looks like in the pot. This pot is old and scratched up. Sorry about that. So I'm going to pour the first cup in here. And using the same cup that's now cleaned that I used to do the other ones. To do the other one, Espresso. And that's what it looks like. It's dark, has a pleasant aroma. Looks very similar to the Espresso. I'm going to taste it and see what it tastes like. Here's a side-by-side comparison of a brewed cup of each of the coffees. On this side is the Espresso, of course, and on this side is the Caffe Verona. They're very similar in color, very similar in a body, very dark brew. This is what the brewed grounds look like. Again, very similar. They're both dark coffees. They're supposed to have a little difference, a little variance in the flavor. As far as the visuals, not that much difference. The Espresso is really a little bitter for me, so I found some Coffee Mate that was left from, let's just say, a former relationship. And I'm mixing some in here to see if it will temper the taste a little bit. The Espresso roast was actually quite good, and once I added the Coffee Mate to it, it reminded me of when I was younger. I made my coffee super strong and added a ton of Coffee Mate or Cremora to it. I quit doing that because of the calorie count, because of the amount I was putting in there, and because of the fat, things like that. So I really don't want to start that up again, but this was really, really good with the Coffee Mate in it. I've had several pots of the Caffe Verona, and it is really, really good. The roasty, sweet, and dark cocoa, it doesn't taste that chocolatey. It has just a really good flavor to me. It's dark. It's as dark as the Espresso, but the flavor is not bitter at all. It's very, 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 very tasty. I'm brewing with the Espresso roast using only 5 level coffee measures instead of the 5 heaping that I normally do, because it's just a little strong for me, and that seems to be working. I can't tell a big difference in the color of the coffee when I do that, but the flavor is much better for me. It's not quite as bitter. These are it's just a standard coffee scoop, but using 5 level instead of the 5 heaping is working out much better for me for the Espresso. My final take on these 2 brews. The Espresso was almost bitter. I really had to cut back on the amount of coffee I was adding to the coffee maker. It got really dark and really strong for me. It is very rich. If you like that type of coffee, then this one would probably be a good one for you to try out. I was not able to taste the caramel in this coffee at all. It was just like super strong, dark coffee. The Caffe Verona, however, was milder. Even using the same amount of coffee, it didn't become bitter or too strong. It has a really great flavor for a dark coffee. Remember that both of these are labeled as dark coffees from Starbucks. And I could almost taste the cocoa in it. It tasted really, really good, but it didn't taste like a flavored coffee. I drink those at work and have some reviews up about them, but it didn't taste like that. I love this. I love the Caffe Verona. I really do like this one. Thank you for watching my review of the 2 dark blends of Starbucks coffee. Remember, it's free to like, subscribe, leave a comment, share the video if appropriate. Remember, for some of us, that life doesn't really begin in the morning until we've had a really good night's sleep and a good strong cup of hot coffee. Until next time, take care of yourself and enjoy your coffee. Bye.